This is a podcast about our lived experience, which unfortunately includes infant death and subsequent mental health struggles. Please take good care of yourself and only listen if this content feels safe for you right now. We'll still be here when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Judith.
And I'm Alina. We both lost babies to SIDS in winter 2021.
In the throes of grief, I reached out to a stranger on the internet and our friendship was born.
In the years since, we've been working hard to survive, rebuild, and navigate the continual challenges that have come our way, including divorce,
Job loss,
dating while bereaved,
moving multiple times,
health scares,
pregnancy and parenting a living child,
starting new jobs, and so much more.
We are tired.
Happily Ever After is out of the question for us, but this podcast documents our journeys to happier ever after because we believe life after loss is worth living.
So join us as we laugh, cry until we laugh.
Welcome to As Long as I'm Living podcast.
We're so glad you're here.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to As Long as I'm Living podcast. I'm Alina Quinn's mom, and I'm here with Judith, Aiden's mom.
Hello.
This episode that we're about to play for you today, this is an episode, the title says it all. Judith is pregnant. I am not pregnant. Still not pregnant. That's the release of this episode. And we talk a lot. This episode was recorded in January, right after Judith found out that she was pregnant. And it's like, honestly, as I was editing it, it's like kind of hard to listen to because Judith, we were so optimistic that I was going to get pregnant like in February or March. And it just like did not happen. And we're sitting here in May and it's just, ugh. So anyway, I just wanted to say right up front, all of our optimism was unfounded. I'm still not pregnant, but I also want to say I feel pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten to a point where I feel zen about the timeline. It is what it is. So don't be too devastated for me. You can be mildly devastated, but don't be too devastated for me because I'm doing okay.
Well, I was going to say that, wait, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
I don't remember what I was going to say. Well, I was going to say that when we released the first episode, when we came back, there were a lot of listens that day, like the most we'd ever have. And I said, well, everyone's just trying to find out if you're pregnant. That is exactly why everyone's listening. That's pretty much what they want to know. So, I think that people just want to know that you get your happily ever after, you know?
Yeah. My happier ever after.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll send you into the episode and, obviously, this just is very obviously an episode about pregnancy. Judith's pregnancy, my not pregnancy. So if that doesn't feel good for you right now, you know,
Don't listen.
Skip it. Come back next week, and we love you, and we get it.
We get it. Did I say? I think I said
it.
in the podcast, like, feel free to hate me. I get it. I can take it. I think that's what I said.
Can handle it.
I can handle it.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
In this moment in time where I am pregnant and you are not,
Yes.
I think it's like a moment in time we should talk about because I think it probably is really relevant to a lot of people where one of them is pregnant, when it's not. So let's start with this. Now, I think at this point we probably would have like announced pregnancy stuff at some point in some way at some time.
Yes.
But so that's not what this is about. But
I'm hoping, listeners, by the time you are listening to this, both of us are pregnant. I'm really hoping that is the case. But right now, we are at a time where Judith is pregnant earlier than she was planning on. And I am still at a point where we're waiting to do an IVF transfer.
And I actually don't know. I don't really know how you feel. Well, I have asked you, like, how do you feel about the fact that I'm pregnant? And you always say I feel nothing. But then yesterday we were talking about you coming to visit me and you were like, well, I don't want to, like, based on what if I'm not pregnant and you are, that would be really hard for me. So I feel like let's just kind of like flesh out a little bit. Like, do you feel nothing? And if you feel nothing, like, are you anticipating a change in that nothing?
Yeah, good questions. I think when you first found out, and we found out together on the phone, which was funny.
Well, first of all, let's just say, like, we had spoken about before how you wanted, like, if you wanted to know, and I only felt comfortable being on the phone because you had said you wanted to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. So there was no part of me that was like, oh, I wish I wasn't on the phone right now. Like, I want to know. I would have wanted to know right away. Like, there was no part of me that would want you to keep that news from me, like, it would have felt so weird to be like, is she pregnant? Is she not pregnant? Is she pregnant? Is she not pregnant? Like that would not have felt good to me at all. So like, it's way better for me to know and be involved than to not. At least in this, I don't think that's true universally for all lost parents, and it's not even true universally for me with all of my friends. But with our particular relationship, that is the way I feel. So it was not bad that we were on the phone. You kept saying like, "Do you want me to hang up? Do you want me to hang up?" But I was like, Judith, we're so far past. Like, do you want to hang up? Like, this is like, I have to know now, right? Yeah. I think like it's definitely hard for me. At the moment I found out, I felt like it was hard. And then over the next couple of days, I mean, it was Christmas. There was a lot going on. I think I felt like nothing about it. Like I was just, oh, it is what it is. And now I think it's kind of interesting because when you got pregnant with your daughter, there was no part about it at all that was hard at all.
Well,
I remember
you weren't in a place where it could happen for you.
Yes. It didn't even feel like an option for me. It felt so far away. And I had other shit going on.
I also feel like sometimes I have friends that, like, they're pregnant with their second after the loss. So their second after the loss. And it's like the first one feels like, okay, like that's one. Yes. The second one, it's like just gluttonous. It's like you had two. I'm so far behind. It definitely feels like, well, I'm so far behind. And also just like, okay, not just one. Like one was for survival. Now you get an extra, And
yes.
Knife in the gut a little bit.
I haven't thought about it that way, but I do think that that's probably part of it. I'm at a point in the loss. So I'm 3 years out. I'm coming up on 3 years out from the loss. And I am the only person that I have, my only close lost parent friend that hasn't had a living child. I have one friend who's about to give, hopefully, birth to a live child soon in the next couple of weeks. With the exception of her, and again, she's hopefully all things normal, having a live baby in a couple of weeks. I'm the only one. Yeah. The only one. A lot, like I saw her, that friend I'm just talking about, I saw her pregnant a couple days before I found out you were pregnant.
I'll also say my pregnancy came at a very bad time for you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like you were not well.
I was just not doing well.
It was a very bad timing. I mean, like, had I known, I probably...
Judith, it's not good timing for you either.
I know.
To be honest, it's not the best timing for you either.
Well, it was,
and actually, that's actually relevant. I think also is that I think because, and it's funny because this was also the case with your daughter, but everything was so bad all the time anyway that it was like whatever. Because this is also not like what you ideally would have planned for an ideal time for you. It's just like, it's almost like an oopsie pregnancy. And those I think are harder, even though this is not like objectively an oopsie pregnancy. It feels like I'm trying so hard to get pregnant right now with the IVF, and you have like this just like casual oopsie pregnancy.
Okay, it's interesting you say that because I think that you and I had like manifested a plan that we were both comfortable, which was the dumbest thing we could have done because we know it doesn't work that way. But we definitely like I know we had spoken about, okay, you're going to get pregnant and then I'll get pregnant after you. We definitely like, you knew that I wanted to have one more. And so you knew that I wanted it to be around this time frame. And we had spoken about trying again, but we kind of had this like vision in our mind that you were going to get pregnant first and I was going to get pregnant second. And I was like ready. I was like so comfortable with that plan. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I remember I told you, I think I said something like, yeah, March, April, May. And you're like, how do you feel about that timing? And I was like, yeah, no, great. Yeah, like fine. Like that's kind of what I was thinking, March, April, May. Yeah. Okay. We're not in March, April, or May. So
no.
Now listen, it's possible I'll lose this pregnancy and like who knows what will happen in March, April, May. But my point is just that like we had an agreement.
Yes.
That was a dumb
agreement. But our brains, both of our brains, not even just mine, I think both of our brains had adjusted to a particular timeline, which is so stupid in the world of fertility. Don't attach to it.
Why we thought that. I think we just thought like, well, I know I thought like, I don't really get good lucky things easily.
Yeah.
I don't know why so I just thought like, obviously it's going to take I don't know what I thought. I just thought like I don't get good things lucky easily. So
and when you were finding out, you were like, it's not March. It's not March. I was like, Judith, why did you think it wouldn't be now? Like, there's no reason you wouldn't get pregnant now if you had had unprotected sex. You're a fertile person. And you're like, what? It's so hard to feel as though you are a fertile person when you've lost a child, because that is like the opposite of fertility, right? To lose a child. But there's many stages of the process at which you can lose a child, and you don't have any historical issues with this.
I just feel really good about the plan. I think that's another thing. I was like, okay, January, my husband's going to job. February, Alina's going to get pregnant. March, I'm going to get pregnant. April is my daughter's birthday. I'm going to Norway in February. Like I had like a plan for February. I wasn't even going to be home for the whole month of February. I have a big work conference that I'm putting on. I just had this whole plan in my head, and I felt like I wanted that plan because it made me feel good.
It was a comfortable plan.
It was a comfortable plan.
That is not how it works, unfortunately.
You know, the one thing the whole thing I feel so mad, like not mad, I just feel overwhelmed and confused about. But the fact that it was conceived on Aiden's birthday, I think brings me a lot of comfort.
Yes, that is a very.
Would that bring you comfort?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
I just had such a good idea. I thought it was going to be so. I mean, we're still going to do it together. It's just going to be.
I know, but what if my transfer doesn't work?
It will. I have no doubt about that. You know, like your issue isn't that. So it has what, a 75% chance in live birth?
70.
That's really high.
I know. I think it's 70% chance of a positive of like a pregnancy,
and if you don't get pregnant in February, you could try again in March. Like you'll be pregnant before spring. Maybe you're going to get pregnant in March, April, or May. Maybe the astrologer was reading your chart.
Maybe my husband's going to get a job.
Maybe your husband's going to get a job in January. Everything's going to be screwed up, and I'm going to be so frustrated that nothing happened. But
oh my gosh, I think I am having a hard time believing that I'm gonna be trying to get pregnant soon. My brain is struggling to know that, like, if I think back to 2 months ago, that feels so recent, and 2 months from now I could be pregnant.
And it's gonna be that easy because we are manifesting easy things.
I do feel like I feel
a shit.
I hope not overly optimistic, but I do feel a level of optimism around the IVF cycle that I actually like. It makes me anxious because if it doesn't work, it's going to feel so shitty.
But I'm just so reminded of your egg retrieval when the first month, it was a disaster, but the second month, it was an epic success. So it doesn't work out the first, just try again.
I know, but it does feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, it sucks. But you're so close, and I see it so clearly.
I know. It's just hard to believe.
I know.
It just feels like I'm the one who like doesn't get the baby.
And
now you're pregnant again, and I have to watch you have the baby again before me.
Yeah. But you're going to have a baby. Our babies are going to be like grow up together. Our babies are going to be best friends. I feel like the way I feel about my pregnancy and the way I feel about your pregnancy are really different. But let's go back, okay? Because I feel like we're getting distracted. But let's go back to you had said, I don't think I want to come visit you if you're pregnant and I'm not pregnant after I've tried IVF once and if it doesn't work out. But
so what I said is it's so hard for me to separate the what I imagine would be disappointment if the good thing doesn't happen, which is us being pregnant together. It'd be so fun. Like, yes, that would be disappointing if that doesn't happen, but it wouldn't be devastating. And then there's on the other side, just like grief that it didn't work for me at all. I'm trying to like articulate what I'm trying to say. There's dealing with the bad thing that happened, and then there's disappointment with the good thing that didn't happen. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that I could deal with the disappointment that the good thing didn't happen, that we wouldn't be close together pregnant, right? Like that seems tolerable. But I think I'd also be dealing with the grief of the transfer not working and just having that.
I have a question. Like, I don't think in your dream of like lifetime, you're like, and my dream is to be pregnant with Judith. Like, I don't think that that's like, I think you
Of
just
course
want to be
not.
pregnant.
I didn't know you.
I know, but I'm saying it sounds like you would be grieving that we wouldn't have this experience together. And I was like, I didn't think the fact that the timing kind of aligned was like fluky. I didn't know that's what we were aiming for.
Oh, no. But
Also,
I do think it would be fun.
It would be fun. And we did speak about at our grief retreat last year how we wanted, how special it would be, how wonderful it would be if we could do it to some degree together. So I think that was like a dream that has been only because it seemed realistic did we want it.
Exactly. Only because it seemed realistic did we want it. And then, you know, what I'm feeling right now is, and it hasn't even not happened yet. Like, it's still very much in the realm of possibility, but I'm sitting here thinking, like, how stupid of us to dream about it.
I know.
How stupid. And that goes back. What is that episode that we did about that? We have an episode about it. Dreaming and how foolish it feels.
Yes.
I don't remember what it is. I'll link it in the description, but it feels foolish to dream for things. And that was such a simple thing too. Like that we could maybe overlap in a pregnancy. And I'm sitting here again, it could still happen, but it feels, I don't know. You getting pregnant first, I think because it seems like it's going to be would be easier for you to get pregnant, which it was. It feels like it made it less likely that it'll happen. But it doesn't, but it's still so possible. I have good embryos. It's all possible. Whatever.
Possible. But the point is that it would be painful for you to spend time with me if you had tried a transfer and it didn't work out and I was pregnant. And I'm curious.
I think especially in the immediate aftermath. Yes, I do think that would be hard.
I'm curious, how would you feel about like speaking to me on the phone, like in a normal relationship? Is it just seeing me in person that would be hard? Or is it like having like a relationship?
I don't know. I think we'll have to revisit this if and when that happens, but I think that a phone relationship would be fine. I mean, I'm remembering back to your first, well, it was your second pregnancy, the first one I knew you for.
Because right now we're in the situation where you're not pregnant and I am pregnant. And how does it feel now?
Right. It feels fine.
It feels
completely fine. But I think I still have like hope and a plan.
I think that we're unique in that it feels fine because I suspect, I know for me, it was really hard when my friends who didn't experience loss were pregnant. But I have a friend who had a baby and then she got pregnant with her second alive child right after, like very soon. Because I did tell her, I told her to be careful, but anyway. And I think she was worried that I would be, because this was like months ago. She's going to have her baby on Sunday. So like 9 months ago. And she was worried about how I would feel. And I didn't feel angry at all. Like I didn't feel, maybe there was like a twinge of it. There was like a moment of it. But like, I think when it comes to people who are lost parents, my heart is so much more open.
Yes. I really think it would be more about my grief around the IVF transfer failing than it would be around you being pregnant. But I think it's just that you being pregnant would make you a slightly less safe person, even visually, to be around in the immediate aftermath of a failed IVF transfer.
I think that's 100% true. I think another thing is like I feel nothing about it. Like I don't really. It's not like I'm like over the moon coming to you, like jumping up and down, like so excited. Like I don't. Yeah. Like I talk about it like in passing. Like
that's what I was gonna say. Like your first pregnancy. And I think maybe you would talk about your pregnancy more with other people. And we did talk about your pregnancy, but we mainly talked about your mental health as it related to your pregnancy.
I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it.
Like we weren't like knee deep in like, oh, how much weight did you gain this week? And like, are you having Braxton Hicks? Like we didn't like do the whole like pregnancy blogging thing,
I don't think that information got into my brain. I was trying to remember when I felt like morning sickness in my last pregnancy, and I cannot remember. Like truly, genuinely, I have 5 memories of the entire pregnancy because information did not go in. It's like I didn't see it. I could tell you where I was in my loss journey and in my grief every single month, but I cannot tell you what happened when I was pregnant. And and I don't feel that way now where it's like it's just that I am a little bit detached. I'm just detached. I'm like, this is what I told somebody. I said, my head is in the clouds, but my feet are on the floor. Like I feel stable in that I don't feel like I did last time where I was so anxious and so messed up and just so intensely stressed and sad and overwhelmed. I don't feel that way. I feel like my feet are on the floor. I am grounded in reality I'm aware of the statistics. I'm aware of what could happen, but I've accepted it. So I'm like, okay, if I experience a loss, I know I will survive. But my head is in the clouds in that I'm very much so like at the whims of the universe. Like I'm out of it. I'm not in it. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just like, what? Like, I can't handle this. I can't like think about it too much. So I'm like aware of the realities, but I'm not living in the fear. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Pretty healthy. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think you're doing great. You're definitely doing better than last time. No question.
Well, one is that this was like probably the longest conversation we've had about it since you found out.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Yeah.
And even there was a point where I was testing every day, and you were like, "Are you gonna send me the tests?" Like,
I was like, "Is the line darker? Like, what's going on with the test?"
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I mean, I also like, I know I'm gonna love this baby, and I want to be involved. I don't want you to lose this baby. Are the tests getting different?
I know. You're like, how funny. I was just like, I don't want to like put it in your face, and I also don't put it in my own face.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it harder than it has to be.
I mean, Judith, you're a lost mom, and it's hard when people are pregnant when you're a lost mom and you yourself are pregnant. I remember saying to you in your first pregnancy, I was like, you are triggering to yourself right now.
I know. It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying, I'm like, I think it's not even that I'm trying to be sensitive. I am just sensitive to it because I am sensitive. Because I'm so sensitive to it, it's very easy for me to be sensitive to others.
Yes. And I think it's worth saying, and this is basically the thesis of what I've been saying this whole time, I do feel differently about this pregnancy you're having than I did with your daughter. I am in a different place. In some ways, I'm in a way better place. And in some ways, it's a harder place because it's now I'm basically trying to get pregnant right now, and I'm not, essentially, I'm in a very different place than I was last time. So are you. I know.
To all of our wonderful new friends, we want to hear from you. Email us at aslongasimlivingpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at aslongasimlivingpodcast. We'll get back to you as soon as our grieving brains allow.
Yay!